Hello, dear hearts. I am Saskia, and welcome back to Heart Power Podcast. Today, I want to delve into the realm of relationships. This is the relationship episode. So, all relationships start with self. Your relationship to yourself is where it all begins. So, if you're able to meet yourself, how deep are you able to go? How honest are you able to be with yourself? How whole do you feel within yourself? How complete? How unified are you in your being? How integrated are you? We want to be as complete as possible and unify all the parts that may have been split off through trauma or difficulties throughout our lives. Many of us are peeling back the layers of beliefs and false aspects of identity and the ego to reveal our true self so that we can shine and be our truest and greatest selves. How good is that? That's what we all want. So relationships all start with self. Now, there is an attachment theory that comes from psychology, and that is the relationship theory of how we attach with our primary caregivers. We were taught or we learned certain ways of bonding with them. So the first type of attachment is a healthy attachment. So the bond is healthy. There is a sense of safety and a healthy connection between the two beings. So that's what we all want and strive for. But most of us probably had unhealthy attachments form in some way. And those would be, there's a few different models, but generally it's the avoidant relationships. We learned part of our survival, what we learned was to maybe be avoidant to get our needs met. So there's that avoidant one. Then there is the anxious attachment style. So being anxious is how you got your needs met or what you learned to survive. So there's the anxious attachment style. And then there's also anxious and avoidant, where one has a parent who possibly show up in two ways. But it's basically in relationships, it's the runner and the chaser. It can be, the narcissist, the empath. There's various ways that can manifest in our adult relationships. But we want to ultimately heal these aspects. First thing I want to speak on is romantic relationships and all relationships really. They all have different meanings and different reasons why we come together with people, romantic or otherwise. And some relationships are not meant to last. They're not meant for an entire lifetime. And so some are for a season and some are for our entire lives. And that's beautiful if we can share a journey with someone for that time. I mean, my parents have been together for over 50 years. They've been married and they are a beautiful example of a healthy union, and they're gorgeous humans. And not all of us have come here and signed up for that sort of relationship journey. I myself have not had that sort of journey. I've had long-term relationships, but I've had a few of those. Part of my journey has been a self-love journey, learning independence and learning to find my worth, which through childhood traumas and what have you was affected and from other lives and things. So I've needed to have multiple relationships. So my previous relationship ended, and yes, that's sad. There was grief that was had. Ultimately, it served its purpose. Both of us learned all we had to learn from one another, and it came to completion. It was a success on a soul level, and we basically graduated. There's grief that comes from, even if there's a healthy attachment, we still need to grieve the absence of someone to some extent. But it is a success. There's nothing left to learn. So both people have other ways to grow and expand and experience within other relationships or through other aspects of their lives where the relationship is no longer serving one another. So I want to reframe relationships in that sense, because a lot of people are like, they get really down about whether the relationship has been successful, or whether, they see it as a failure, perhaps, if they haven't been able to make a relationship work, or if it hasn't gone the distance that they had hoped for. But ultimately, we want to be really complete within ourselves so that we have no need from another to complete us, to make us feel whole. We want to be fully complete within ourselves, that there's nothing that you don't have within you that's within another. So if you need something that somebody else has to make you complete, or for you to feel whole, then that is a codependent relationship. We don't want to be codependent. We want to be interdependent and independent in ourselves, so that we are fully self-reliant and responsible for ourselves. Yes, there are shared responsibilities within relationships and different roles that we take on, but we ultimately want to be showing up complete and without any need from another to make us feel whole, because that's a lot of pressure on the other person, and we want to be able to feel secure and whole within ourselves. So that can be a journey if you have not done that work to heal codependent tendencies. And it does come back to, it can often come back to our attachments. So to become secure and healthy within our own connection to ourselves, we need to learn to work with the inner child to heal the aspects of self that maybe have been not feeling safe, and to nourish ourselves in a way where we feel complete. We want to integrate all the parts of self that have been set aside, that have been neglected, that we have disowned through different experiences. We want to unify them and embrace them, the shadow aspects. We want to love all of ourselves, basically, so that we can turn up in our wholeness and be completely loved for all of who we are. And we want to love the person that we may be with for all of who they are. And then that is a whole union, and there is a beautiful sense of wanting to experience life together and not having any expectations of the other person, or any specific needs for who they need to be, or what they should bring to the relationship. Yes, we need our needs met, and that comes down to our values and who we are as a person, and we want to express what our needs are and ensure that the person that we're choosing can meet those needs and is a good match for us. And through our intuitive feelings and knowingness, and through communication, we can really go deep and come to understand whether somebody is the right match. I mean, you do get those feelings and those red flags if there are any, and there is that knowingness. It's just whether you heed the call and whether you are going to honor yourself, because as soon as we start compromising ourselves, it's different to compromise, like, oh, we'll watch a movie that we both want to watch. Like, I might not want to watch a violent movie and you might not want to watch whatever else. Let's watch something we both like the sound of. That's a healthy compromise. But then compromising who we are for the sake of another, compromising our values, our core intrinsic truths, that doesn't feel good. It feels off, and you know it in your bones whether something doesn't feel right. So we don't want to compromise who we are for anyone. We want to be rock solid in ourselves, and that involves feeling safe and having safety in our nervous system at a core level. So the more we build our relationship with self and honor self, love self, and really meet ourself and spend time with self to really just get to know self. We need to understand ourselves deeply to really be able to show up in our wholeness within another relationship, within any relationship with anyone. We want to be fully whole and loving ourselves so much that we're not going to compromise ourselves in any way that is deviating from our truth. We want to honor our truth in every moment. If something feels off, I want to be able to, I need to be able to tell my partner or my friend how I feel, because if I can't express myself, then I'm suppressing my truth. And then that's going to lead to, unexpressed aspects. And that only builds up, it's all going to come around. And the more you suppress, the more it's going to cause division and contrast as you go along. You cannot hold back your truth. Your truth is always your truth. You can suppress it and bury it, but everything will always come to light at some point. So to learn to love the self is what we want to do, and coming into the heart and honoring our truth and what feels right for us, working from a feeling nature rather than logical. Oh, this person looks good on paper, or they tick all my boxes on this list. Then there needs to be a core feeling. Does everything feel right? Because you generally get that feeling, that inkling is something's amiss, right? From that, we want to not only love self, we want to actually, the next level is unconditional love. So to love someone without judgment. So we want to be able to love ourselves without judging ourselves. We want to really honor and just see ourselves in such a pure and divine light, that knowing that we are perfect just as we are, that life is good just as it is, even if everything that you desire hasn't fully arrived. You want to be in the vibration of, as if it has, as if you are whoever you want to become. You need to really anchor into that beingness to align with that, right? Unconditional love is the love frequency that is now anchoring on earth, and that is a deep sense of love without judgment. Yes, we still need to discern whether things are right for us, and we do that through our feeling nature and our heart, and through our other senses. They give us indications. We might get different signs through various other senses to indicate whether there is something that is off. But unconditional love at its core is there is no judgment, and there is a sense of full acceptance. So we move beyond what's good, what's bad, and we just see the wholeness of all that is. And we discern whether something's right for us, and we trust that whatever is going on is part of our experience. It's part of what we have called in, and we trust that this is part of our journey, and that we can create our journey as we wish. It is our creation. So if we don't like what we've created, we can change things. We get to choose, and the choice is where the power lies, in the choosing and in the understanding that we are responsible for our creation. So if you are wanting to attract a partner or a person for work or a relationship of some sort, a new friend, or you want to attract whatever it is you really want to attract, the magnetism of the heart is where it's at. So it's about being a magnetic attractor for what you want. So it's about being what you want already. So you need to let go of that. You can't want something, because otherwise the universe is like, oh, they want it. So you just stay in that eternal wanting state. So one needs to act as if, without the expectation. So you can put the desire out to the universe, but then let it go, because it is the attachment to the things that you desire that actually eludes them, that prevents you from receiving them. So when we have no attachment, that is like the secret unlock to actually receiving all that we desire. So when there is no attachment, there's no resistance. And so things can flow through. It's like a dam, if the resistance is like the dam, and that is where the attachment lies. That's the physical component, maybe coming from ego or whatever it is. We don't want to be attached to results, to people. We want to have healthy attachment, of course, but not a need as such. It's more of a freedom, like a unified resonance, as opposed to a lock or some sort of hold. We don't want to have a hold on someone. We want to have a unified field, a unified intentions, and so on. So there needs to be a sense of freedom and wholeness that accompany unconditional love, which is underpinned by our values and our truth and our boundaries. That is being unconditionally loving with self, saying, no, that's not right for me, and just honoring our truth and choosing in alignment with ourselves. You are what you desire. So it's a tricky one, but it's definitely worth it. You kind of need to be like, I'm good either way, whether I have a partner or not, or if I have that career or not, because ultimately we're whole and complete already. So if we feel that completion, that contentment, then anything else is a bonus. And then there's no resistance for that to come in, if that makes sense. It's like I had a car that I was selling ages ago, and it was on the market for ages. And I was just like, oh, I just want to sell this car so I could buy my new car. And then it just didn't sell for months. So I ended up trading it in for the new car. I had this resistance and this need to sell this car. And then the day that I traded it in was the day that there was inquiry for the car. So it's just funny how when we have that resistance because there's this need, how it can cause, things not to come in. If we fear not having it, if there's a fear, and do we want to come from a mindset where we think that there is lack and there's not enough to go around? No, we there's enough for everyone. There's enough room for everyone. There's enough everything for everyone on the planet. It is a truly abundant and infinite universe that we live in. So don't think in terms of lack, or all the good men are taken, or all the good jobs are taken. If there's something that you desire, know that everything is aligning for you in the universe. It is your creation, and it will come to you in exactly as it's meant to. If you can be in that state of surrender and just receive, allow yourself to receive and give in a beautiful, harmonious way where it's flowing and you're following the guidance without judgment, without any need. It's just a full flow of nature. And then when we flow in such a way, things can come to us easily. Listening to the body is the indicator. Really, the soul speaks through the body. The body has its own innate intelligence. It is always talking to you. So it's just a matter of, are you listening? Are you tuning in? Are you spending enough time with yourself? Are you spending enough time in nature to honor the call, to really honor self? And the rest will all fall into place. To recap, don't compromise yourself for the sake of another. Do not compromise your integrity, your values. Maintain boundaries and say no or yes. Honor your truth in every moment. And then you cannot be led astray. And if you listen to your intuition, even if it is not making any sense where it's guiding you, if you really trust and hold faith, you will be led to your greatest destiny. When you have that deep knowing of self, your relationship with self is so complete. You don't have any need for any sort of completion to come from the outside. Any relationship that you may have with others, plutonic or otherwise, it's purely an expression, a reflection of this deep, beautiful completion within you. So if you can really connect into that, you can feel really deeply whole and you can never be lonely. You can never be abandoned. You can never be rejected because you're not judging yourself. You are in full acceptance and you fully love who you are. You can't disown yourself. You're not going to abandon yourself. You love yourself too much, you know? So build that relationship with self. Don't allow yourself to be compromised. There is so much noise going on out there, and it is easy to get sucked in to let your consciousness be hijacked by these external noises and things, flashing lights, colors, whatever. But when you're anchored into that knowingness and that heart, there is no need to worry. There's no need to fear because you're anchored in love. And fear, it's an illusion. It can only live in the mind. Fear can't live in the heart. So the truth of who you are, your magnificent, magical, magnetic self wants to shine. It wants to share its magic with the world. We all have incredible gifts within us. We are all infinitely wise, gifted, unconditionally loving. We all have that capacity within us. We all can manifest whatever we desire by being our truth, by being in our embodiment. Be self-loving, honor self, and build the greatest relationship of all, and all other relationships will level up and you will just revel in love. You will be a state and an expression of the divine love that resides within us all. And you will help to unify yourself and unify the world, because our earth needs us to come into coherence with her. Our hearts are calling us into coherence. Unify self, be love, and you'll be loved infinitely. You already are loved infinitely. Sending you out so much love, and be well.